I paid a man to come to my house to clean my car. It felt weird. It felt weird, I'm not gonna lie. That was part of my chores growing up, is to wash the cars. My parents' station wagon, Caprice Classic. For those of you who live in Los Angeles, you guys know what happens when you wash your windows. If you can turn up the sound, you guys can hear that there's a leaf blower in the background. There's always a leaf blower in the background. It's just kicking up whatever, pollens, dirt, soot, whatever's in the air. I'm talking to you right now from a dirty table. I go get the Windex, I scrub these windows down. They'll be dirty, they'll be filthy in a week, maybe less, maybe in 3 days. I really like this guy Rajiv, Rajiv. Look up Rajiv properly cleaning a window. Windows are if your eyes are the windows to the soul. I spend a lot of time where people close to me, my ex-girlfriends, my friends, would say, "Hey, you don't really make a lot of eye contact, huh?" And you can insert all your racist jokes here about having slits and all that, but and then purposefully living in a converted garage that had no windows. It was like worse than my prison cell. So I don't know what it says about my life, where most of my life I've lived in rooms without any windows, and now I have to have the biggest windows possible. Knock that wall down, make it a giant window. Do you know how much time that's going to take to clean? You guys know what an Overton window is? I feel like I've known what it is my whole life. It's just interesting that someone recently, you hear that leaf blower? The Overton window it's a feeling and a concept that first let me explain what it is. It's a range of policies politically acceptable to the mainstream population at a given time. It is also known as the window of discourse. So you guys have had this experience before, right? Where you watch like the movie American Pie, or it's the year currently. I don't like to talk about anything political or current events, but yes, it is the year 2022 right now. But watch a movie from 2018, 2015, and you'll just be like, whoa, man, that was crazy. Like, watch a movie from like less than 10 years ago, and the things that were okay then that are not okay now. Forget what society or anyone else thinks. What I think when I listen to myself in interviews, I've been on Joe Rogan 5 times. Some of those have been deleted, I've been told. Maybe it was 4 times on his show and then once on my show. Well, either way, when I listen to DVDA, say, or old interviews I did on Howard Stern or Joe Rogan or whatever, I cringe. I go, I can't believe I said that. I can't believe that's what I was thinking. I do that when I cleaned my house recently and finding old journals, things that I thought was okay. And so, you talk about social justice warriors or what's that thing that everyone, virtue signaling, or it's what's acceptable, right? It's what's acceptable. The way people dress, what's acceptable. Victorian dresses, when they had the big ass coming out, and you see all those old dresses. Nobody wears that. It's not socially acceptable right now. So the Overton window would be what is acceptable to share in polite society, in private, even in private. What is it acceptable to share with your wife or husband in the most intimate settings? What do you still hold back? And you guys know I'm in many 12-step programs. I'm in many different, free programs, and It's easy, especially now with Zoom. It's easy to be anonymous in all of these groups. And so what happens? It's easier to share when you can hide behind a wall or behind a mask, when you don't have to give your identity up. And so you guys have heard me say this before, and this isn't something I just, this is true. This is a feeling that I've had for years and years, maybe my entire life. I will write something, and as soon as I write it, I go, oh my goodness, I'll be killed. I'll be murdered if I put this out. I will draw something, and I go, oh man, if anyone ever sees me, I'll be 5150 or I'll be locked up. And I've created so much art in my life. And I hope you guys understand I'm not being melodramatic, because a lot of these things came true. And I've been hurt. And part of that is I said, it's art. It doesn't hurt anybody. It's just words. It's just paintings. It's just whatever. However you decide to express yourself, it's art. Art should be free. It should be controversial. It should be dangerous. And yet, I have so much shame, embarrassment, insecurity about releasing. I have books that friends have read that said this should never go out. I have paintings that people say, whoa, I don't know about this one. I have podcasts that I've done, and to be fair, they're right. Some of them should never come out. And so a lot of people know me as a pretty prolific artist I've painted thousands of things. When I was the most active, I was doing the news for Vice. I had my own TV show, The Thumbs Up. I was in a band called Mangchi. I had my own podcast, DVDSA. I was having art shows. I was putting out books. So I was doing a lot. And yet, with all the output I've put out, the Overton window it's been closed. It's been shut. So, can you guys please explain to me what is acceptable to share and talk about in Monko? Because I've been in rooms that aren't Monko. I've been in rooms where people have shared like just the most painful shares you've ever heard in your life. And because it was safe. And so this Overton window, it's not set. The window shifts, the same way you take two L's from your fingers and you do that cropping thing where you're like a director cropping. The window can shift, it can expand, it can contract. But this process usually happens really slowly. But I have faith in the Monko community. I have faith in you guys. We have Monkos in our midst. We permeate through society, and I think it's our job. I'll take the think part out. I know it's our job. It is our job as window makers. Do you say widow makers? No, window makers. I've never held a hammer in my life. You are a window maker, a metaphorical window maker. And it is your job to test and shift this window. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Well, you ever look out a window? When you get a hotel and they go, do you want the beach view or the sunset view or this? And if you don't have enough money, they give you the room with the no view, but you still try to crane your neck, especially if it's those hotels where the window doesn't open. And you're like, what's right there? Right in the periphery, right in the corner. I almost see a little bit of sunset. What happens when the walls come down and the wall's all window? Well, in that case, the window could probably shatter very easily. A glass house. It is our job in this community to change the shape of that window. We can do it. Where society moves very slow, we can change it here faster. That involves no judging. That involves support, safety, and the number one, the fifth element, love. That involves love, forgiveness, no judging, acceptance. We have Monkos here that are the Joker, the angel, the destroyer, the storyteller. There's people here that say things that other people in society never say. the things that go unsaid, the things that people think but never say out loud. There's people in here that say things that are judged as too intimate. I've never heard conversations like this in my own family, in my own romantic relationships, but they're willing to go there because they trust and they love. There's people in here that just want to blow it all up. F it all. We're window makers. Who's going to go out on that branch, that flimsy branch, and help me get this window open? People have said this before. Does it have to be said right now? Does it have to be said by you? And does it have to be said by all, at all? And so when I think about that, yeah, I have a problem editing myself. I have, no filter or too much TMI, too much information, all those things. And yet, I would like to get to a place in my life where I'm confident enough and secure enough in my community and in myself where I can speak my truest feelings without being judged, without being shamed, where I'm allowed to be wrong and there's room, space, window makers, space holders, sweep that side of our streets, sweep that shame away. What I'm working towards is, in my will right now, in my living trust, it's when I die, then everything can be released. Because I want to enjoy the rest of my life. I don't want to live in all the shame and all the canceling and all the things that have happened to me. I would like to just say and do whatever I express myself freely after I die. And there's a sadness in that. I feel sad about that. But what I feel now in this community and the way things are changing and the world is right now, is I can sit here right now and focus on all the darkness. The windows are closing. It's getting more censored. It's getting more controlled. And that may or may not be true, but I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on myself and this community right now and what we've done so far and what is changing. And I'd like to get to a place where I feel completely confident to put out anything and release it all while I am still alive. Because I do feel like I have a lot to share and I have a lot to give. But I'm so scared of getting hurt again that I hold back. So I ask again, who will go out on that branch with me and open that window? Dosame.